Hey there, welcome back to Gucci channel. Today we are going to build this beautiful application which called Ninja Project, which is a project portal for the user and for the developer community. So this project is built on Next.js, Tailwind Css, React, Firebase, Next Authentication, and so on. Okay. So first of all, let me walk through this application first, and then we will talk about which technology we are going to use to build this project. Okay. So if you see on the screen, this is a home screen of the application. Quite simple, right? But you will learn how to build it with the minimum code. Okay. So on this project, if you open any of this particular project, right, you will see this information like the image, the technology that they use, the source links, so that you can refer it and who post this application. Okay. Now for example, let me open this particular project, right, which contains the demo url, right, which you can click it and it will open the url as well. Okay. Also you have this youtube video link, the source link, the technologies list, and the name of the user who posted it, right. Also you can sign in with the google authentication. Okay. So it's built with the google authentication, and with the help of NextAuth we build this. Okay. Then you can add a new project. Okay. So if you go to the new project, you can add it from here, and in order to add a new project you need to sign in to this application first. Okay. Once you add this project, it will be available in your profile. Once you click on this profile icon, it will available here. You can see your project list. Okay. You can open any project, and you can even delete your project as well if you don't want to put in your profile no longer. Okay. So you can delete it as well. Then if you go back, right, and you can explore the others paper project as well here. And this particular project is completely responsive. If you see, right, depends on the screen size, it will adopt the change, it will change the layout and everything. So guys, watch this full video and you will learn a lot of things. Okay. A lot of different types of technologies if you are not aware of anything. And one more thing, this project or this particular tutorial is completely a beginner friendly. Even though you don't know about the Next.js, if you don't know about the React, Tailwind CSS or anything, even though you don't know about Firebase, don't worry. I'm gonna teach you everything from the basic, everything from the start, and we are gonna build this application from the scratch. Okay, so let's talk about the technologies. So for this particular project, we are gonna use the Next.js, which is the one of the base React framework for the web. Okay. And if you don't know about Next.js, don't worry, and it's very easy to use. If you know React, that's the Next.js is quite easy. If you don't know anything, don't worry, I'm going to teach you. Then for a backend, we are going to use the Firebase Firestore database. So we will learn how to store the data, how to fetch the data, as well as how to delete, how to make operation on that one. Also we are gonna store images in a firebase storage as well. Okay. So that one also we will learn in this particular course. Then for a google authentication, we are going to use NextAuth.js. So if you want to see, right, if I log out from the application, oh sorry, it's log out, then you can sign in by using google authentication. Okay. And that particular feature we gonna use using the NextAuth.js, and it's quite easy. You will learn once you will watch this video, you will learn very easily. Then for a styling, we gonna use this library called Tailwind Css. Okay. And that also will learn everything from the scratch. So guys, without doing any further delay, let's begin to develop this beautiful application. And one more thing, if you did not subscribe to my channel, please do subscribe to my channel. And the source code of this particular project is in the description, so you can check anytime if you face something. So in this particular course, we are gonna use Next.js to create our application. So if you go to the nextjs.org, this is the official website of the Next.js. Okay. And you can go to docs, you can learn more about that one. And in this particular course, I'm gonna teach you everything from the scratch. Okay. So for now, uh, in order to create the NextJS application, just copy this command, okay, in order to create a project. So go to your desired folder where you want to create a project, open the command prompt, and here just type npx create next app, okay. Then it will ask you, do you want to proceed, say yes, and then enter the project name. So in this case, I gonna project showcase portal, okay, and enter it. Now it will install some dependency like react dom, next, and so on, okay. It will take few seconds, so we will wait.
A few minutes later.
Now our project is created. So in order to go to project, first go to the project folder. So in this case is cd project showcase portal, okay. Now you are in the project folder, and now by typing code space dot, it will open the VS code with your project, okay. If you see, our project is open now. Now let me walk through some of the files and folders which are important to know. So for first, I ignore the node module. Second, the pages. So pages folder is very important. The routing is based on these pages, right? If you define new, if you create a new folder or new file, it will consider as a new page, and it will create automatically a new routing. Okay. So while we are developing this application, you will get to know better once we started. Okay. So I will teach you everything, so don't worry about that one, okay. If you don't know about any Next.js anything, don't worry, I am here. So now index.js, this is our initial file, okay. This is our home page, you can consider. And underscore app.js, this is our starting point of our application, right. Whenever something is getting loaded, right, the all the components like index.js, pages, or the other components is get loaded from this underscore app.js, okay. So this is very important. Then we have public folder. So in this public folder, whatever the images, assets we kept in the public folder, it can be accessible directly, okay. In the styles folder, we have all the global css files, okay, and all the style sheet is defined in this particular global.css, or you can create your own as well. Then we have next.config.js, okay. I will let you know how to use this one and where we gonna use this one, okay. So this is very important. The some of the configuration we need to do in Next.js, and that's the reason this next.config.js file gonna use. Then we have package.json. Most of people know that package.json consists all the dependency with the version and everything, right? And we can say that this is the brain of our application, okay. So in order to start the application, all these commands, the dependency, the versions are written in this particular files. Now let's run the application first. So go to the terminal, okay, and it will open the inbuilt terminal for the VS Code, and just type npm run dev, okay. So it will build the application, and it will open the port number 3000, okay. If you see, and just open this localhost 300. So it's loading, and once it's loaded, right, it will navigate the by default page. If you see right here, the welcome to Next.js and everything, right, this page is nothing but in the pages folder we have index.js, okay. And whatever the written in the index.js is display on the screen, right. So we have title, then we have welcome Next.js. So for example, if you edit this one, right, welcome to tube guruji, please subscribe to channel, okay. If you did not subscribe to my channel, please do subscribe. Now if I save it, right, as soon as I save it, if you see, the text is changed, right. It's very quick. Let me put it side by side like this, okay. And if I delete something like this, see, as soon as you save it, it will reflect on the screen, right. Now for now I will remove all of this code, okay, and save it. you will see nothing on the screen, right? If I say hi, it will print on the screen. Okay, perfect. Now let's install the Tailwind CSS. So in order to install the Tailwind CSS for Next.js, just type it on Google, install Tailwind CSS Next.js. Okay, and it will open very first link saying install Tailwind CSS with Next.js, right? There are some few steps which we need to follow in order to integrate the Tailwind CSS. The first step is to create a project. We already create the Next.js project. Okay, so we'll skip this first step. Then second, install the Tailwind CSS. Then copy this first command. Okay, and paste it in your terminal. So open new terminal and paste it here like this. Okay. Next, we will execute this second command. Once you execute this second command, it will generate two files called tailwind.config.js and postcss.config.js. Okay, so let me execute the second command. Okay, and as soon as it's executed, right, if you see in the files, we will see these two files, postcss.config.js and tailwind.config.js. Okay, so these two files is created. Third, we need to copy this all of this code. So I will copy this all of this code and we need to paste it in tailwind.config.js. So open the tailwind.config.js. Here I will replace this code and with the new code which I copied. Okay. And then we have to add this particular three lines of import statement in global.css. Okay. So copy this one. Go to the styles in a globals.css. I will paste it here. Okay, and save it. And just now we need to run it. Okay, but in order to make sure it's working, I will just put this line of this particular HTML line in index.js here. Okay, and then I will run it. So let's stop the server first and then rerun again. Now if you see, right, this particular h1 tag has a class name. Okay, and for this class name we have this particular tailwind css classes. Okay, for in this case it's saying text 3xl, and if you hover on it, right, it will give you the font size of 30 pixel, line height of 36 pixel, which is the correspond to css properties. Okay, the font bold is nothing but the font weight they are saying in css like 700. Okay, so this is a kind of shortcuts for the some of the styling in css. Okay, now if I save this one, right, and go back to our project, refresh the screen and wait for a few seconds, and if you see, right, the tailwind css is get attached to this particular hello world, it means we successfully integrate the tailwind css in our project. In order to build this home page, okay, we are going to use current index.js. Okay, because whenever we launch our application, right, the index.js is our default page and which is our home page. So in order to add this header, the hero section, or the list of all the business, right, list of all the project, we're gonna add in index.js. Okay, but we can divide this page into different components. So this header section we can call as a one component, the hero section we can call as a different component, and so on. Okay, so let's first of all create a new file for the components. Okay, and we can name it as a header.js. So go back to a project first, and I will also open project side by side. Okay, so we are not gonna create a component in the pages, because if you create any file in pages, it consider as a new page and it will add a routing for it. So let's create a new components in a root directory. Also, if you go to the tailwind.config.js, right, we have to make sure the component folder name is need to be similar like these components. Okay, so that tailwind css classes and everything will get attached to that one. Okay, it's applied to that particular folder. Okay, because if you see in the content, it assigned to app, pages, and component, and so on. So let's create a new folder called components. Okay, and inside this component we will add the header.js, which is our component, right? Now if you did not watch my previous video or any of the video, right, I explain every time that you need to install the one extension, okay, in a VS Code called React, React ES7 plus. Okay, this React ES7 plus Redux React native snippet, right? This extension will help you to add the default template, okay, for the starter template. For example, once you install this particular extension in VS Code, and if you type RFC, right, which is the React function export component, which automatically add you a default template for your component or for your file. Okay, so this is very powerful and you can try it definitely. Okay, now we have a header component. Now in order to put this header component, right, go to the index.js. So go to the public folder, sorry, go to the pages folder. Inside that we have index.js, right? So here I will remove this uh, code and this one as well, and here you can import the header, right? So just type headers. Okay, make sure this is importing from the components folder, and once you enter, right, this import components, this particular statement get imported and the header section is there. Now if I save it, now you see header is printing on the screen, right? Right now this is the header, is available in the header.js now, which is printing on the screen. Okay, now we successfully add our component into our main page, right? Perfect. Now let's start implementing this header section, right? I have the logo for our project, so I just copy it. In the public folder I will create a new folder called images, and inside the image, let's open this image folder, and inside this image I will paste my logo. I will rename it to logo. Okay, perfect. Now I have logo folder. Now let's go to the header.js, and inside here first of all I will define the image. So simply I will define image source. Okay, and source will be a dynamic. So first of all I will import this particular image. Okay, so I will say image logo from, and here you have to give the path name. Okay, you can give the path name like the publics and then images, okay, and then logo, like this, or you can directly define here as well. Okay, in this case you don't need to define the public folder, complete path, because public is directly accessible. So you can just define slash images slash logo dot png. Okay, and once you save it you will see this logo is uh, printing on the page. Okay, now let's give some styling and height. So in this case obviously we will use the class name and we will use the Tailwind Css classes. So in order to define the width, Tailwind Css also provides some default width, right? And if you see the corresponding css property of this one, right? In order to provide the custom value for the Tailwind CSS classes, you have to define in a square bracket, and inside that you can give value. So in this case, for example, I will give 4 to 5 pixel and save it. See, it's working, correct? Let's give some bigger value like 75. My okay, maybe like this. Okay, and you can define a height, but right now I will not define because it's managing with height proportion. Okay, now our logo is there. Okay, let's add some value. If you go to the mockup, we have the create post, right? So here you can add the create post or create project or add project, right? So then we have these two button and the logo and the user profile image. Okay, so first of all I will add the button. So let's say button, and we can say it, create post. Okay, and then we have another button which say sign in. Okay, and then we have the profile image. Okay, so let's say image. Okay, in source. Okay, and here we will add the dynamic image. Okay, now see here, right, in this case we will add the HTML image tag, but here we add the image. Okay, but we need to import it from the next slash image. Okay, I'm adding this because you will understand how next image will work. Okay, now here we will provide the link of the particular image. Okay, and I already have this image. Okay, so I call it user image, and this is the URL. Okay, so I'm taking from the actual URL, and just I will replace here, means not replace, but I will put this user image constant over here. Okay, and we'll provide some height and width. So in this case, let's put width of 60. You can change it later, and height of 60, and save it. As soon as you save it, you'll get this error. Okay, and what it's saying, the host name, the whatever the host name, right, is not configured under the image in your next config.js, because this host name is coming from this particular user image URL. Okay, which is a subdomain of the cloudinary. So in order to fix this issue, right, we have to go to the uh, next.config.js. In here we have to configure that particular domain. So here you have to write images. Okay, and inside this one you have to define the domains. Okay, in square bracket. So whenever you added a different type of image with the different domains, right, then you have to make sure that you will add the domains over here. Okay, and then save it. Now once you save it, you have to stop your server. Okay, and then you have to rerun your server. So our server is running now, and let's refresh the server. And if you see, our user image is getting display on the screen. Okay, let's change the height and width of it. So I will just change to 45, and here I will change to 45. Let's see how it looks. Okay, make it 40, and it's look good now. Okay, now let's apply some styling to these buttons. Okay, so I give class name, and let's say padding x to 3, padding to 2, and I want background to be black, so just like bg black, which is background black. Okay, and save it. And then text I want white, so let's make text white. Okay, perfect. And I want the corner to be fully rounded, just say rounded full, which is nothing but the border radius of 999 pixel. Okay, perfect. The similar kind of property I wanted for sign in. Okay, so just class name and put it like this. Only things don't want the background to be black, I want a gray background like this, and text to be um, dark gray, so I will make text gray, and you can increase the count, right? So for example 700, and save it. See, it works. Correct. The extra actually comma. Okay, perfect. Okay, and for this image I will also add some class name, so just make the rounded full, so it will be in the round. Okay, like this. Now we have to put everything in one line. Okay, also for a sec I will update change the size of this one. Okay, like this. Okay, now we put in one line. So for this div, okay, just make class name and make it flex, and once you make the flex, it will be in one line. Now we want the create post, sign in, and this image at the right hand side. Okay, so what I will do, I will wrap this three uh, tags button, the two button and image in one div. Okay, like this. And then I will make justify between. Okay, so it will give some space between these two items. And then for this div I will make it as a flex. Okay, so it will be in one line now. Okay, and no stretching, nothing. Also I will give some gap of 5, 5, like this, and if I increase the size it will show look like this. Okay, perfect. And let's give some padding, so I will give padding to 4, and if you see now, perfect, it's working fine. Okay, now let's give some border at the bottom side. Okay, so let's give border of 2 pixel. Okay, I want border uh, to be bottom. Okay, like this, and 2 pixel. Okay, you see border, and you can change the color of the border as well. So we can say for now I want blue color, 500. So I give blue color like this. Perfect. That's what I wanted. Okay. And our header is almost ready. Okay. And if you see, everything's look good. Okay. Sign in, create post, and this particular button. Next, we will add the React icons. Okay. In order to update this create post, because right now, if I go to the inspect panel and change to this view to the mobile view, right? And let's update to the tech xr, this create post button and sign in button is too congested, right? So in order to update it, I will change this to the icon whenever this mobile it is on mobile view, right? Otherwise it will show the text. So in order to use the react icons in a react project, right, just type react icons. Okay. And then you will find this first link. Okay, so it's a library for the react icons. So it's very easy to install. Just copy this line of command. Okay, and go to your project and just paste it in a terminal. So let me open new terminal and paste it here. Okay, now in this react icon you will find a bunch of different types of icon, right? So depends on your need, depends on your requirement, you can use any of this icon, right? And it's very easy to use. For now I will use the hero icon, right? So in order to use this icons, right, you have to make sure that you will import this particular hero icon import statement. So let's go back to our project, and here I will import it, right? Then we have to replace this icon name with the icon which you're gonna select, right? So in this case I will select some pencil like thing, right, to create the post. So let's find one. Let's say create or pencil. Okay. So I will select this high outline pencil square. Okay, and just click on it, it will get copied, and make sure you'll paste it here like this. Okay, now the icon is imported in your component, right? In order to use it, right, let's say I want to use it here, right? So after create post I will use it. Okay, so just either html tag you have to use it like this. Okay, and save it. Now if you go back to the project, we'll see this icon is get added here, right? So when the screen is size is smaller, okay, or it means extra smaller, then we have to show this icon, and we have to hide this create post, right? So first of all, wrap this create post text inside the span, so we can add some classes to this one, right? So what I will do, I will add the class name. Okay, and initially I will add hidden tag, right? So sorry, class name. So what it will do, it will hide it if I save it, right? If you see, it hide it, right? But when the screen size is smaller and larger, okay, this is very important, right? In this Tailwind CSS, okay, we have extra small screen size, which is a default screen size. Okay, default value. Then we have the smaller, then we have medium, then large, extra large, kind of things, right? And so on. So XS means default, and if you did not specifically mention, then it applicable to all screen size, right? So hidden is applicable to all the screen size until and unless we define something. Right now we are defining for the smaller screen size, and we can say block means to show it displayed, right? And when the screen size I define is smaller, so this property is applicable to all of this thing which is smaller and greater than that screen size. Okay, so now if I save it, right now the screen size is extra smaller, but as soon as I increase the screen size, you will see this post. See? Okay, now what I have to do, when the screen size is smaller or larger, then we have to hide this icon. Okay, so let's class name, and here we can say uh, first of all we have to show it, and then we have to on smaller screen size we have to just hide it and save. Now if I can increase screen size, it hide it, right? Let me go to the inspect panel, and if you see, right, this is a larger screen, medium screen, and as soon as I touch it the small screen size, it get hide. See? Okay, perfect, that's what we wanted. Now same thing you have to do for the sign in. Okay, so same logic you have to do sign in. Let's do it, and let me know if you have any issue. The code for the source code for this project is already in the GitLab GitHub, and the link is in the description, so you can check it out if you have face any issue while doing this or implementing this particular code. Now we are going to use NextAuth in order to add the authentication for our application. And to add the authentication, we are using Google as our sign-in provider. Okay, so don't worry if you don't know about the Next.js or anything about that one. I will teach you everything from the start. Okay, so first of all, let's go to this next-auth.js .org. This is official website of Next Authentication. Okay, and once you are in this website, just say get started. Okay, now here you will see this some of the documentation, right? Don't worry about that one. So in order to install or integrate this Nextdot in your application, you have to execute this particular line in your terminal. So copy it. Okay, go to your project and open the terminal and paste it here. Okay, so we successfully completed first step. Now once it installed, just scroll down, and if you see, right now it has a grid provider, right? But we want the Google provider. So if you come here, right, and here you'll see the provider option, right? I already open and find for the Google one. So this is the particular page for the Google provider. Here you have to add these providers as a Google provider, correct? So if you see, right, uh, before that one, first of all you have to add the API route, right? So you have to create a new file with the this file name. Okay, in pages slash API slash auth. So let's come here. Okay, and go to the pages. So in our project, go to the pages. Inside that we have API, and inside that I have to create a new folder called auth. Okay, inside this folder we have to create this file name. So I will copy it, create a file name. Oh, sorry, inside this create a file called next dot and in a square bracket dot js. Okay, done. Now copy all of this code. Okay, and paste it in a project. Now obviously we don't want git provider, so I will remove the code and I will remove the import statement as well. Okay, and let me remove this particular comments. And once you open this Google, right, make sure you will add the Google provider. Okay, like this. Now where to find this client ID and client secret key, right? This is very important. So if you don't know about Google Cloud Console, let me know in the comment section. I will make a complete tutorial to add this credential. Okay, so once you are in this API and service, go to the credential screen. Okay, and first of all you have to if you are first time on this page, right, you have to add auth consent screen. Just follow the step and just complete it. Okay, then go to the credential and just say create a credential, right? Select the web application, that's all, and some follow some steps, right? I already have this this client ID and client secret ready. Okay, so I gave this name. Also if you go to this particular uh, Google Cloud documentation, right here it mentioned that in production you have to give this particular URL, and in development you can write http localhost 300 and this URL. Okay, so first of all origin is our this one localhost 300, and in the redirect URI you have to mention this particular URL, okay, which is already given in the documentation. And once you deploy it, you can give the actual URL. Okay, and then save it. Now here you will find the client ID and this client secret key. Okay, so I will copy this one. Okay, and let's go back to a project. In this root folder, right, create new file called .env. Okay, make sure you will put all your important keys, any secret key in this particular file. Okay, so that once you deploy it, it will not accessible to anyone even though your project is public. So the file is created. Okay, and here just paste the let's Google client ID. So it's saying Google client ID. Let me paste first the key. Okay, and I will say Google client ID like this. Okay, and then we have the Google client secret. We paste it, and I will copy it from the cloud console. So this is secret key. Okay, I paste the both the keys and IDs. Okay, perfect. Now this ID and secret key we are using in our next auth. Okay, if you see process.environment.google client and Google secret key. Okay, and save it. Next step, let's go back to this our first documentation page, and now if you come down right in the underscore app.jsx, we have to modify this particular code. So let's go back to underscore app.js. Inside this, right now we have this code, right? So first, just copy this return, okay, or you can copy whole code, right, like this. But it's saying my app. Let me copy from this one, okay, and paste it like this. Okay, perfect. Now I have component everything. Just they added this session provider. So our component is getting wrapped in session provider so that whenever you user log in, right, our session is accessible throughout the application in any component. That's the reason they wrap our component in between the session provider. Okay, and save it. Now I will scroll down, right, which very easy to add the sign in and sign out. Okay, so now let's go back to our header, and here, right, we have sign in button, right? So where is sign in button? Here we have this sign in button, correct? So before that, first define this session hook, right? So just type, or you can just copy paste it, right? Just copy paste it and paste it here. Okay, make sure you will import this use session, right? So what I will do, I will copy this import statement and paste it in a file like this. Okay, because we also, along with this use session, we also need sign in and sign out. Okay, so right now we did not sign in, but in the session, right, we will get all our information. I will tell you how to do it. Okay, how we can see the data. But before that, let's come here, and for this sign in button, right, we will add the click event, right? So if you see like this, we can add the click event. So we need to do sign in. So I will copy this one and I will paste it. Okay, and we already had sign in imported. Okay, and then save it. Now let's go back to our application. So it's saying section provider is not defined, right? So let's go back to underscore app.js. Here you have to make sure you will import the session provider. Okay, and then save it. Now we don't find any error at the moment. Let me go to the, let me increase the screen size and go to the inspect panel. Okay, and in the console we have a lot of error. I don't know why. Okay, but okay, we'll come back here. I don't know. And if you click on sign in, right, if you see, we got this error, providers and Google provider is not defined, right? So it's saying Google provider is not defined in NextAuth because we did not import the statement. Okay, so let's go back here and make sure you import this Google provider and save it. Go back here. So we got the error. I don't know why. Okay, let me refresh it and click sign in. And if you see, we got this sign in button, right? And now if you click on it, okay, and now it's sign in. Actually it's sign in, okay, but you are not able to see it because only one account is there, right? But now you can able to print the details of the user, right? So what I will do, I will just console it the session, okay, like this. And if I save it, let's go back here, let me refresh it, right? We already sign in, correct? So now don't worry about this button. And if you see, right, we got this information. So in the expire, okay, let I expand this user, and you will see the email ID, the image of the user, and then name. Okay, it means we got the result. Okay, perfect. Now how to display or show this image over here once user sign in, and also we want to change sign in word to sign out once is login, right? So first of all, once the user sign in, right, we will store this information in one state. So or you can use directly session because it's already login. So this panel, right, I will wrap this, and if session is there, right, session dot session is there, then use, or maybe I will make it false. If session is not there, then show the sign in button. Otherwise, I will copy exactly same, show the sign out button. Okay, I will make it sign out and save it. Now if you see, right now we already log in, that's why it's showing sign out button, right? And now we can call here, right? Let me move this on click to this particular span, and also this span I will make it sign out. Okay, and save it. Now is the size right now, we already log in, that's why it's showing sign out. If I click sign out, right, now it's changed to sign in, and if I refresh the screen, now in the session we are getting null value, see. Okay, because we did not sign in, and that's the reason it's showing sign in button. If I click on sign in and go to sign in with Google, and now you will see sign out button, and then we'll get the information as well. Okay, how easy and how cool it is, right? And within some few minutes we added this authentication without doing any lot of coding, right? We already have all this documentation, just copy paste it, that's it, right? Perfect. So that's all for this particular section. That I hope you understand the how to add the authentication. So you can try for the different provider like Facebook, Instagram, GitHub, so on, right? So yeah, if you have any doubt, any question, let me know in the comment section. And if you did not subscribe to my channel, please do subscribe. Now we successfully implemented Google authentication, and we got the username as well as user image and email, right? And so that what we will do, we will update this user image. Okay, and when user is sign out, we will remove this user image. Okay, so now we have user is login. If you see here, right, user already login, that's the reason we are getting sign out button. Now we scroll down, and here you can say if session is there, right? So and add the question mark, then add the session dot user dot image. Okay, otherwise we don't need to put anything, right? And then close this, say null, and close this tag, right? And if session is not available, then don't show anything. Okay, and save it. Now we got the error because the host name is not configured under the image in your next.config.js, right? So this is the host name for our image, and we need to configure in our next.config.js. So let's go to next.config.js, and inside this domain we will add this another new domain and save it. Now obviously you have to stop the server and restart it again. So we'll wait. So our server is running. Let's refresh this URL, and we'll wait, and you see the user, whoever user is login, its user profile picture is showing on the screen. Okay, if you see my Chrome's user profile is similar to this one because I'm logging with the same email ID. Now if I increase this, if I sign out, okay, if I sign it, you see you don't see in that particular user profile, but if I sign in back, okay, you will see this profile. Okay, now if you go to the inspect panel, and if you wonder why we are getting this error, and if you read that we need to provide alt property. Okay, so whenever you are using the next image, right, you have to add the alt property. Okay, so this is very important, and Next.js making it mandatory because it help us to increase our SEO. Okay, it help us to implement a better SEO. That's the reason. So let's add alt and just say user image and save it. Now if I go to the inspect panel and refresh the screen, now you will not see that particular error, see. Okay, so make sure whenever you are using the Next.js image, make sure you will add the user image. Okay, that doesn't stop running your project or running your application, but it's better to add it so that your SEO will be a better. Okay, perfect. So I just renamed this button to add project. Okay, so whenever a user click on this add project, we have to navigate to the new page where user can add a project detail. Okay, So we'll implement that in this particular section. So first of all, let's go to your project, and in order to add routing and a new page, right, you have to add a new page in this pages folder. Once you create a file in the pages folder, it act as a new page and also added a routing for you. Okay, that's the reason Next.js is so powerful. You don't need to do any special configuration for your routing, because routing is a critical part while developing the React application, and Next.js will help you in that one, so that you don't need to do any configuration. Next.js will take care of the routing for you. Okay, so I will tell you and show you how to do it. Okay, so first of all, we want to create a new page called create post, correct? So first of all, I will in the pages folder, I will create a new folder, okay, called create post. Okay, so obviously when I add index.js in this particular folder, it will default to that particular folder. Okay, for example, if I add it index.js, and even though if I go to the create post, the index.js will display on the screen. Okay, or you can create a new page directly in the pages without creating folder. It's up to you. But for the so not standard, but for the good practice, right, I created this particular folder. Now let's add the default template by just typing rfc. Okay, and now I will change this to create post. Make sure the doc component name should be in the capital letter, start with the capital letter. Okay, and the create post and save it. Now here is the magic comes up. Okay, right now we on the index.js, which is on this page, right? If I type create dash post on the url, let's see what happened. Create dash post. Okay, and see, jump to the create post. Okay, let me rename this one to create project, not the post. Okay, so let me update this one as well, create project. Okay, and now it will be a project. Now it jump to create project. Perfect. It means our routing works. Okay, and obviously we are navigating to this folder, and because in that folder we have index.js, it will default to that particular page. Okay, perfect. Now if you see, right, on the localhost, let me go back. On the localhost we have this header, right? But if you jump to this uh, create project, not there, right? Because in index.js we added this header, right? If you copy this header and put it in index.js, let me remove this one, add it here, make sure you import it and save it, you will see it here, right? But when you have multiple pages, like you have more than 10 pages, 20 pages, okay, every time you have to import the header component, right? So in order to avoid that one, I will first of all I will remove this from here. Okay, and I will also remove from this from here. Okay, now let's go to the app.js. As I told in the beginning, the app.js is our starting point, right? So instead of putting header in every page, right, you can put in an app.js, right? So I can put it like this and make sure you import it. Okay, and now first of all, obviously header will execute and display on the screen, and then whatever the component you have, it will show it on the screen. Now if I save it, you will see on the screen on the right hand side, in the create post we have a header, also on the localhost we have the header, right? So you don't need to add every page. Okay, automatically once you add it here, it will be throughout the application, because the header is you added on the app.js. Okay, I hope you understand this one. Now, on the button click of this create project, we want to navigate to the new page, right? So let's go to the header.js where we have this button, correct? And if you see here, we have this button, correct? So first of all, let's define one next routing hook. So constant router is equal to use router. Okay. So if you see, use router is importing from next slash router. Okay. Just import that one and like this. Okay, now we have this router. So this router will help you to navigate to the next page. Okay, so it's quite simple. So for this button, let's add on click method. Okay, and on click of this one, I will route. Okay, I will just say router dot push. Okay, so we have method called push, and then where you want to push, right? So we have to give the file name, that is the routing name, right? So in this case is create dash project, correct? So just copy this one and paste it like this. So slash create project and save it, correct? Now let me refresh the screen. I'm on 300 3000 port, and if I click on it, see it jump to the create project. Okay, so for understanding purpose, I will write something here, right? Create project. Okay, and save it. Now if I'm on the home screen, let me refresh. If I click on it, is route to the create project page, and here is our create project page. Okay, I hope you understand this one. Quite easy, right? Just click on it, you will be on this create project. Okay, obviously I will tell you how to pass the data or in the routing and everything, but for now we will go one by one, step by step. Now let's create a form in order to create a project or add the project details and everything. Okay, so what I will do, instead of creating form inside this one, I will create a new component. Okay, so let's go to components folder. Inside that, I will create a new folder called create project. Okay, so all related component regarding the create project we will keep in create project folder. Okay, and inside that I will create a project name called just I will say form.js. Okay, add the default template, that's all. Okay, now you can import that particular component in your create project page. So here I will remove this and I will just add form, right? If you see, the form is getting imported from the components folder. Okay, so just add like this, make sure you will import it and save it, and now you will see the form text on the screen. Okay, now if you see my previous lecture, right, I added the form with the help of Tailwind Css, and I show you how can you do the same, right? So I already have the code for the form. Okay, so I will just paste it for now. Okay, so I will remove this one, I will paste it like this. Okay, and everything is there. Also I created one folder called data, and inside this data I have index.js. Okay, and inside that I keep this technology list, right? React Native, Firebase, in order to select from the checkbox. Okay, you can also add the icon. I will add the icons later on, I will inform you that one, but for now I just added this list of all the objects, right? And I just exported it so you can use throughout the application. And that particular data dot technology, I iterate it and use it as a checkboxes. Okay, so if there are 10 technology list, then 10 times you will see the checkbox. If I save this one, right, and right now data is not defined, so let's make sure you import the data. Okay, so let's go here and let's import data from and give the path. Okay, so in this case it's a data slash index.js, so you don't need to define that one, and then save it. As soon as I save it, the form will look like this, right? So we have the title, we have the description, then you can select the multiple technologies, okay, which your project is using. You can add it later on. For this particular example, I am using some few technologies. Then you can add the URL. Okay, and then you can click submit. So here the title and description is mandatory. Okay, and this particular checkboxes and the URL, right? Also we need to add the file upload thing. Okay, so that also I will tell you how to do it. Okay, so that user can upload the file or upload the image for your project. Okay, so I hope you understand this one. Okay, the source code is already in a GitHub or GitLab, so you can, the link is in the description, you can access it anytime. And in order to add the file, I just paste this particular code, and it's quite easy. So just I'm defining input of type file, and I'm accepting only images. Okay, so it's maybe a PNG format, JPG and GIF. Okay, this three format is acceptable, and I give some styling, and if I save it, you will see this choose file, right, where you can choose only the images. Okay, perfect. And let me close this one. Okay, so our form is ready. Now let's build some write some logic in order to get the data, right? When user enter the data and click on submit, we will console the all the entered data. Okay, and we'll make sure that we are fetching all the data whatever user enter in the particular input boxes. Now, in order to store the entered value, okay, first of all, we need to define one state. So let's define one state called constant inputs set inputs. Okay, and it's a use state and empty object. Okay, so inside this one, we'll store the value. Now, if you don't know how to handle this input text, right? Let me show you one example. So inside the input, right, let's define on change method. Okay, so whenever you type something, right, this on change will change method will get execute. Okay, so if I define like this and define e, okay, and let's console the event. Okay, and save it. Now if I go to the inspect panel, go to the console, okay, and if I type something, you see we got the bunch of information. Okay, if I type rah, every whenever we type a single word, every time it get executed. Okay, and if you see, if I expand it, right, you will see a lot of option. And if you go to the target, and inside that you will get to the value, you will see the latest value which you entered, right, in the text box. So in this case is rah. If I put rah rahul space sign up, right, and if you go to the last event, right, then name the target and value, then you will see the complete name, right. In the previous one, you will see the name like this. See, okay, perfect. So our target dot value is updating. Okay, and we need to get this information. Okay, so let me put it this back. So on change is working, so just we need to save this information, correct. So what I will do, I will create one method here. Okay, so say console.log. Oh, sorry, not my bad. So let's define one method called constant. Okay, and inside that, just define the handle change method. Okay, so we can call it as a handle change. Okay, so handle change is equal to p, and we have to pass the event e. Okay, and then for every, okay, first of all we define this handle change, and we have to on change method we have to pass like this, right. When you pass like this, it will just call once you update something, right. You can pass like this as well. Okay, but you have to make it method like this. Okay, so make sure, otherwise you can pass it directly like this. Okay, so I will put it everywhere where I want to get the information. Okay, so for this particular check boxes, will I will tell you later on. Okay, this handle change will not work for the drop down because we have multiple value. Okay, we will work on that later on. Then we have the input url, then we have this ui ux url, and just paste it like this for everywhere. Okay, and for file input we will do it later. Okay, and save it. Okay, now you see e is not defined, right. So because let me check on change, we did the handle change. Okay, sorry. So just make sure the handle change is correct. And also one more thing I forgot. So we have to wrap this in one form. Okay, because once you wrap this in one form, let me wrap it like this, okay, and save it. Still it's showing the error call is not defined. Let me check the issue. The issue is right, we need to convert it into arrow function. We missed this one, and now it will show it. Okay, perfect. Now everything is as it is. Okay, and now here, first of all, let's define one constant called name. So we need to know which input, for which input user entered the value. So we can get it from name. So let's get target dot name. Okay, from that one we will get to know, for example, if I put on title, then in the name it will save as a title. Okay, so for that, that's the reason we give the name for each input the different name, right? So it's unique. Then and then we need to get the value. So let's say value is equal to e dot target dot value. Okay, and it in this one we will get the value which user entered. Now in order to save this input value, right, we have to make sure that we don't need to erase the previous value, correct? So we need the previous value as well. So in order to set like that, you have to do the previous value, okay, the arrow function. Then you have to give three dot, okay, to add the previous value along with the new value. So I will, oh, sorry, so value, let's say values for, oh sorry, values, okay, doesn't matter. And then name is for the for which name, sorry, for which name we are providing the value. That's the reason I keep keeping like this. And then value, okay, and it will set the value for each input. Then we'll get the field name and then value. Okay, so it will look like this. For example, let me show you. This is the comment, multiple comment, okay, and inside that it will look like this. So for example, we have um, title, and then we have value called sample, okay, like this. Then next one maybe a description, comma, some random, okay, description, comma, like this. So the result will be like this. Okay, so that's the reason we have to mention like this. Okay, and in this one we will get the input. Next, we wrap this in the form, right? And also we have to make sure the button type is a submit. Okay, so let's define one method, constant submit. Okay, and inside that one, let's make it pass it the event. Okay, and this submit method we have to call uh, in a form. Okay, so you can change it to maybe handle submit, so it's maybe very meaningful. Okay, and in the form, just need to write like on submit method, because it has a on submit method. So let's say on submit, and on submit method we have to call handle submit event. Okay, so just call handle submit, that's all. Okay, so this will call this method. And we can write the e prevent default. Okay, so I don't know why uh, there is some reason that we need to write, okay, in order to avoid duplication. But just write like this, e dot prevent default. Okay, and save everything, nothing will get changed, don't worry. And then just console the input. So console dot log, and we'll out inputs. So input contain the value which we saved. Okay, so this one, and then save it. Now go to the project, clean everything, and if I enter something, hi, how are you, some description, we don't add anything for this technology, we'll keep as it is, some random text, obviously it's not mandatory, and submit it. Now as soon as submit, you will see the console, right? We have the app demo url, description, github url, portfolio title, everything. It means we are getting everything, right? Also, if I refresh the screen, right, and I try to submit it, right, it will say please fill out the details, because some of the field I make it a mark it as a required. So for example, this title is required, right? This text area is required, but I did not put any required for this particular urls. Okay, that's the reason even though you try to submit it, you will get error or warning that you have to write the title and description. Okay, Perfect. I hope you understand this one. I know it's little bit confusing. And if you have any doubt, any question, let me know in the comment section, or you can DM me on my Instagram channel. Okay. Next, we gonna try to fetch the information for this drop down. Oh, sorry, for these checkboxes. Okay. So on once you user click on this one, we have to make sure that we will save this value. Okay. So now let's implement this on checks information, right? So once you check any of these check boxes, you can able to fetch the data and you can store it in one state. Okay, so that afterwards we can send all of this data in our Firebase. So first of all, let's mention on click method here. Okay, and inside on click method, um, we can set one method called on take select. Okay, like this. And in this on text select method, I will pass the name of this technology. Okay, so we can get like item dot name, and whether if you check it, right, we will get the event, and from that event, right, we can fetch it whether this particular checkbox is mark it check or not. So this is the event, and we can say e dot target dot check. Okay, so from this we'll get the value as a true or false. Okay, now create this method. Okay, so we'll create a method on constant on text select, and just accept that value. First is name and then is check. Okay, now if each check is true means if someone check it, right, then we will write the logic. Else means if each check is false, then logic is different. Okay, now it's quite simple to implement this one, right? So first of all, let's define one use state method, right? So I will define use state method called constant take list. Get take list is equal to use state. Okay, and this is I'll pass a user as empty array. Okay, now if come to this on take select method, and here we can write set take. We need to set the value, right? But we want to set the value along with the previous value. So in short, we will push the value, right? So we can write like the previous value. Okay, and inside the array take the previous value comma name, right? And you can save this one. Let's save this and save it. Right now, in order to print it, right, in use state, right, as soon as you enter something, it will not console. Okay, so in order to get that, right, use effect method, and we can call this use effect method whenever this take list get updated, right? So just pass it like this, right? If you pass empty, it will execute only once, but you for passed some value, right? So whenever this take list value change, this use effect will get executed, right? How cool it is, correct? So now here we can console the take list. Okay, so for our understanding, right, we can say, okay, let's this take it as a take list. Okay, not necessary, but you can write like this. Okay, and let me bring this down. Okay, and now save it. Okay, now let's open the inspect panel. Let me clean this one, and if I click on react, right, see, it push it to this array. If I click on Firebase, it's saying Firebase. If I click on Tailwind Css, the three items get added, right? But if I click again on Tailwind Css, nothing is happening, right? Because we uncheck it and we did not write any logic. And if I uncheck it, I have to make sure that I will remove the item from it, right? Otherwise, it will keep added. See, okay, if I added Tailwind CSS, added like this, Tailwind CSS added multiple times. Okay, so let's write a logic if the user uncheck this particular checkbox, right? So now here it's quite simple. First of all, let's say like uh, list item is equal to, right, here what we will do, we will filter out our take list. Okay, so let take list, let me bring this down, dot filter, and then item, name of the item. So if we have to check the item name is equal, is not equal to not equal to the name. Okay, name means this particular name, right, on take select. If it's not equal to that, all the list which is not contains the particular name, and save it in take list, right? And this take list, then we will just save it, set take list, and take list like this. Okay, perfect. And then save it. Now if I save, let's go back to our project, like clean everything, refresh the project. Okay, let me clean it. And if I click react, see, Firebase Tailwind says, right? If I unselect the Firebase, right, nothing is happening. Let me check why. So here we are setting the value. Okay, we have to set the we are incorrectly set this value, right? So we have to set this value, not the take list value, right? Perfect. Let me go back here, refresh the screen. Now select react. Oh, let me clean this one. Firebase Tailwind CSS. We have React, Firebase, Tailwind CSS. If I unselect Firebase, see, Firebase is gone from the list. See, if I put Next.js Angular, right, now we have this for information. If I unselect Angular, the Angular is no longer here. Perfect. That's what we wanted, and that's how we implemented this one, right? Now another thing. Now we got the list of technique, correct? Sorry, but we want to save it in our inputs because this is the usual input where we are storing all the information, correct? So instead of I will remove this console, and here you can write in set inputs, right? And if you see, same logic you have to apply here. So I will copy it, paste it here like this, right? But instead of this name, we can write take list, okay? And then value is nothing but our list of take. So let's write take list, okay? And this will update every time when our take list is updated, right? Because this is literally is not dependent, sorry, is independent. That's the reason we need to use this use effect. And whenever this take list updated, we will also update our input field, okay? And save everything, okay? Perfect. And you can console this one. Let's okay, so we'll console it on submit method, right? So we so if you see here, right, we already printing it, so that's good. Let's go back here, refresh the screen. Let's clean everything. Okay, now I will put some sample title, description. I will select this 3 4 5, right? I will unselect the Firebase and then select something like this and submit it. As soon as I submit, you will see this console, right? And in the console we are getting this information along with the list of tech that which we selected, right? So in this case we selected 4 tech list and the 4 value are there, right? Now we are pretty much ready to push this data, right? One more thing we are pending is to choose the file, right? If I select this file, choose like this, right? And this file is get selected, right? And on submit method, we have to make sure that we will send this value to the Firebase file store, correct? So before that, we will integrate the Firebase in our application, and then we will first push this data, and then we will see how to store this particular file to the Firebase, okay? And then we'll update our database as well. So keep watch this complete video, and if you did not subscribe to my channel, please do subscribe. So now let's integrate the Firebase in our application. If you don't know about the Firebase, what is Firebase, don't worry, okay? I will teach you everything about the Firebase. So Firebase provide a serverless function, serverless database, okay? And you don't need to uh, buy any server, okay? Firebase will taking care of that everything, and it's completely free, okay? Until and unless you are in the free quota, okay? So if you see, and this is much enough for the beginner app, the small app, okay? And don't worry about that. I will going to teach you everything, okay? So log in with a Gmail account and then go to the console, okay? Once you are in this console, first of all you have to create a new project, okay? So click on add project and give the project name, okay? And click continue, follow the step, and done, okay? After that, once you are in the project which you created, right, you can create a different types of app, right? You will land on this page. I already have some few application, but if you don't have app, just click on the app, right? And here you will see iOS, Android, Web, Unity, Flutter, okay? So for now, for the React, right, we are selecting Web, okay? And once you select the web, you have to give the name. So in this case, I will give Ninja project. And it are saying, do you want Firebase hosting? We don't want it, so just click register app. Also, one more thing, okay, Firebase provide a lot of different features and different services, and if you really want to learn that particular services and how to use in React Native or any other language like Angular, okay, then let me know in the comment section, and your comment will help me to create a more beautiful content for you. Okay, next. So once you added here, right, it asks to add a Firebase SDK, use npm. Okay, so just copy this one. Okay, npm install Firebase, go to your project, and here click new terminal. Okay, and just paste this npm install Firebase. Okay, so it will install the Firebase for us. Next, you have to create a new file. Okay, and we have to add all of these things. Okay, so what I will do, I will copy everything and then go to your project. Make sure the Firebase is getting installed. Okay, that's fine. Then in the project folder, I will create a new folder for us. Okay, so it's just create a new folder called shared, and inside that I will put Firebase config. Okay, .js. You can give whatever name you want. Okay, and then paste the code which we copied. Okay, now let's go back here and make everything is good. Okay, and then save it. Right now you don't see any change in the application. Okay, and then scroll down and say continue to console. Okay, so once you are in the console, if you click on this four app, right now it's not visible because it's still building the application. Okay, so right now don't worry about that one because we already integrated the application. We already set all the config files and everything. Right now, one more important thing: whenever you push this project to any server, or you are sharing this source code to GitHub, GitLab, yeah, right, make sure the API key you are using is um, you are hiding that API key, right? So what you have to do, go to the file and you have this .env file, right? Here you can just create a new variable. Okay, so here you can say Firebase underscore API is equal to, and paste this particular API key. Okay, and save it. And now if you can access is like process dot environment dot, and here you will get the option of Firebase API. Firebase, sorry, just type Firebase API like this. Okay, and save it. Now everything is ready for us. Okay, so let's see how to use this Firebase in order to push this information, the form information in the Firestore. Okay, now we successfully add all the configuration for the Firebase. Now let's go back to Firebase, and here you will find this option called Firebase Firestore database. Okay, this is Firestore database, which is real-time database. Okay, and here you can add a different types of database. Okay, so right now this is the sample database. Okay, and I have some already some collection. Okay, so here you can create a new collection and say projects, and inside that you can add the document id, you can add the new field and everything, right? But if don't have any document, don't worry, because whenever we add any new Firestore uh, documents through our application, it will generate a new collection for us automatically. Okay, now if you did not set up it, it's quite easy, just follow the step and you will be launched on this particular Firestore database. Okay, don't worry about these rules, indexes, usage. Okay, this is more advanced things. Okay, and right now we don't need it. Okay, so as this is a beginner's course, we'll just focus on how to add the data in the Firestore. Okay, now let's go back to our application. Okay, and let's go back to form.js. Okay, so we have this component in a create project, we have this form.js, correct? And here we will add this logic to add the Firebase Firestore data in the database. So if you search, let's search for this Firebase add documents on Google, and you will find this first link. Go to this first link and scroll down. Okay, so if you scroll down, it's saying first step is to initialize the cloud Firestore. Okay, now in order to initialize, right, we already add this configuration in different file, And also we initialize this application. If you go to this firebase.config.js, here you will see that we already initialized the application. Okay, now the we have to initialize the firestore as well. Okay, in order to save the data in firestore, so just copy this line of command. Okay, and at the top I will paste it here like this. Okay, and just go to the, copy this import statement so that you will install this get firestore file. Okay, and also if you see, right, we need to export this application. So what I will do, I will just say app, right? And if you don't find the uh, any suggestion, right, what you have to do, just import it manually. So just write it like this. Let me go back. Okay, yeah, so import app, okay, from, and give the path. In this case is shared, oh, sorry, shared, right? And in that shared we have this firebase config, right? And then save it. Now once you save it, the app is there now. Okay, now our database also configured. Okay, now just scroll down and here you will see this set document function. Oh, sorry, set document section, right? Here is quite easy. Just copy this line of code and that's all. You are ready to save the data. Okay, now what we are doing, when the user click on submit, then only we are storing the data. So here, after console input, you can remove this console input if you don't need it. Now this is need to be a async function. Okay, so just I will make this to async. Okay, and here we are setting the document. Okay, and the document is in the document, right, we have to set the database. Then here this is the what we can say, this is the collection name that we are gonna give, right? So in this case we will give projects. Okay, after that we have to give the document id. Okay, so what I will do, for document id, right, I will use the date timestamp. Okay, so just write date because timestamp will be unique. Okay, and we have to give unique document, and then date dot now, and this document id should be a string, so I will convert this into a string. Okay, and that's all. And instead of this information we will say our own information, so I will paste it like this. Okay, inputs, and then save it. Now if you go back to our application, okay, right now it's saying window is not defined. Okay, so let me scroll up and say what's the issue. So here what we miss, right, we import this one, but we have to make sure that we will export this one, right? And if we don't want analytics, I will just make export default app. Okay, so that we can use it anywhere. And if I save it now, and you see the error is gone. Okay, now let's add some information. So let's say sample title, sample description. I will select 1 2 3. Then demo URL is URL. Okay, app UI/UX YouTube GitHub portfolio. And then let's open this one, click and submit it. Okay, so now we don't have any action that okay is submitted or anything, right? So let's go back to our firebase firestore. Okay, and let's refresh this firestore, and if you see, the projects collection is get created with the document id, which is our date timestamp, and then our all the information which we accepted from the user, right? So we have everything ready. See how easy it is, correct? We have the take list information which is selected, the all the information ready. Okay, now another thing, right? If I okay, let me open this one. Okay, on the right hand side, and here, right, now we have to, what we have to do, we have to make sure once the user submit the form, correct, we have to give some note type of notification. Okay, we submitted the form or something like that, right? So you can give the toast message yourself. Okay, or anything. So for that one you can use Daisy UI, okay, which is very powerful and cool library for the Tailwind CSS, and very easy to use. Okay, they have a lot of predefined components. For example, if you go to the, let's find the toast somewhere here. Okay, if you find the toast here, right, and if you scroll down, it will give some example as well, the related code as well. Okay, just copy it, paste it in your project, that's all, you are done. Okay, that's simple it is. So I hope you understand how to store the data. We successfully store the Firebase Firestore data in our from your application to Firebase Firestore, and then now we will we will extend this application more further. Okay, so now let's try to upload the image. Okay, so before that we have to make sure that we will select the image and we will store the file information in state. Okay, so let's come here in the file section. Okay, and in this one we have to select the file first, right? So here we can write the on change method. Okay, so once the file is selected, this on change method will get call, right? And say event, so it will have the event. Okay, and first of all let's console it what information we are getting. Okay, so I just say e and console.log e. Okay, now let's increase the size of this one. Inspect, go to the inspect panel, console, refresh the screen. Okay, clean everything, and then if I select the file, okay, and select any of the file, right? For example, if I select this file, if you see the event get called, right? And in that event we want the we have, if you see, right, we have a different object. In that we have the target object, and inside that we have uh, let's say somewhere called files. Okay, so if you see, right, the files option, and this file information we are, obviously we are only selecting one file, so first element we wanted from this file. Okay, so this image we are gonna store it. Okay, and this file we need to save in one state. So let's go back to our application again, and here I will define one state. Okay, so after that I will define one state called constant file comma set file is equal to use state. Okay, like this, and then we have to set the file. So let's bring down, come down, and instead I will remove this console, and here I will say set file. Okay, and inside that we have e dot target dot files, and we want the first element, right? So we have the file information. Now this file we are gonna store in the Firestore, correct? So now we successfully fetch the sorry, store the file, right? Now we have to handle submit, right? Because on submit we have to send the file to the Firestore. Before that, if you go to the Firebase Firestore documentation, here you will see this section called upload from a blob or a file, right? So we have a file, and from that we have to upload it, right? So let's follow some steps to initialize this Firestore first. Okay, sorry, the storage of the Firebase. Okay, and if you, let me go here, right, and here in the section, right, let me, okay, so we have this storage option here, and just say get started and you will launch on this page, right? I already have one project which is running, and here you can create a new folder, and where you can start uploading the file. Okay, but if you don't have folder, that's also fine. For example, let's create one folder called ninja projects. Okay, and inside that we will store our all the files. Okay, so let's come back to our project, and before that we'll first initialize this um, application, right? So I will copy this like this, and I will pass the app configuration. Okay, and make sure you will import the get storage. Okay, so I will copy this, all of these things, the import statement, and paste it here like this. Okay, perfect. And now this storage reference I will explain how and how it works. Okay, and for now I will uh, comment out this one, right? Means I will not push any database changes. Okay, so here, sorry, so here we will define this storage reference. Okay, every time when you click submit we will store this storage reference. So how it works? Okay, so first of all we already defined the sorry, we have to import this reference. Okay, so make sure you already have this reference here, right? And then we have the storage reference here, right, the from the get storage, and here you have to pass the path and the file name. Okay, so in this case is our ninja project is our folder name, right? So it's, I think, projects, and after that we have to pass the file name. So we already have the file, okay, and from that we can get the name. Okay, we have the folder, and inside that the file name, right? And that file name contains the extension of the file and everything. Okay, then we have this function to upload the file. So upload file, copy it, paste it here. Okay, obviously everything is ready here, and upload a file blob. Okay, so we'll keep as it is, we will try and we will test it, save everything. Let's go back to our project. Okay, clean everything. Now I will choose one file. Okay, and select this file for example, and click submit. Obviously I have to fill some information here, and here click submit. As soon as click submit, if you see in the console it say uploaded a blob or a file, it means our function get executed and it's uploaded. Let's test it here. Right now, go back our storage, go to the ninja projects, and if you see, right, unnamed.jpg, because the file name is unnamed, and if I open this one, right, its file is get uploaded. You can access this file, just click on here and you can access it here, right, the URL of this file. Now the question is how to get this URL and store in our Firestore database, right? Because we want the URL of this file and we need to store in our Firestore database along with the entered information, correct? So in order to do that, if you go to the here, right, if you scroll down, let's scroll down more, and it will say here somewhere, okay, the for example. Okay, so here, right, there is one example. Once you execute one file, upload it, right, we have one method called get download URL. Okay, and it will give you the URL to download, right? So it's very easy to write. Just follow these steps. Let's say then, because this is a promise. Okay, and then response. Okay, and here you can mention get download URL. See, and it's importing from the Firebase slash storage. Okay, once you did that, you have to pass the storage reference which we define here, right, this one. And again, this is a promise, so then, and we have to call URL. Okay, because we want the URL, and make like this. Okay, now if I console this URL, let's see whether we are getting the URL or not, right? So I console it. Let's go back to our project, clean everything. Okay, I will refresh the screen, and if I choose the file, right, if I choose, now I will select this file and submit it. Oh, let's write something here and submit it. And if you see, file is uploaded, and along with we also got this URL. If I click on this URL, it opens this particular image which is uploaded on our fire storage, right, Firebase storage. Perfect. So we are able to get the URL. Now the task is to save this URL in our inputs, so input state, so that we can push it to our database, right? So it's quite easy again. Just you have to write the, because we have the set inputs method, sorry, state. So set inputs, inside that we will get previous value. Okay, and along with the previous value, we have to make sure that we are pushing the value with the existing object. And here I will write image comma URL, right? Perfect, like this, and save it. Right now, obviously, if this change, right, set input is get changed, we have to make sure that we will save the information, right? So this need to be called. Okay, so what I will do, uh, I will call this method in one use effect. Okay, because set, once the set input is changed, this use effect will get called, and then we will execute this line of code. Okay, here I added this loader. Okay, so I created a new component called loader.js, and inside this one, right, I added this div and I added this image. Okay, so if you go to the images folder, I have this added this image. Okay, I take it from internet and I add it here. Then once you put this particular part into the image, make sure you will give the class name, and you make sure that make it the Tailwind CSS class as animates dash spin. Okay, so what it will do, it will rotate your animation circular. Okay, and after that, once the form is submitted, right, I create one state here. Okay, and initially I set it as a false. Okay, and once user submit the request, we make the set loader as a true, and once request is completed we will make set letter as a false. Okay, and also uh, here I added this div. Okay, and I added this component, and I also, in order to put this on in front of all this component, I made class name as absolute. Okay, so it will come in the front, and once the loader is true, then only it will show the loader, otherwise it will not show loader. Okay, let me give you the example. Okay, so let me bring our project here first. So this is our project, right? Perfect. Let me refresh the screen, okay, once, and we'll add some project name. Okay, so in this case I will add the create blog using React and Tailwind Css. Okay, I will put the description similar. Then I will add the React, Firebase, Tailwind Css, and what else, other. Okay, other. You can add demo URL. Right now I will not add anything, and choose the file you want to save. Okay, so I have these images. I will paste it like this and click submit. Once you click the submit, right, it will show the loader. See, the loader was showing, correct? And now your post is submitted successfully in the database. So once it's submitted, obviously loader will go away. Okay, now what we have to do, once the loader is showing, right, once you click the submit and loader is showing, once the data is stored, right, we have to navigate to the new page called profile page. Right, once you click on this image as well, you will navigate to the profile page, where you have all the project which you created. Okay, is whatever the you project you created, only that project will show in a profile section. So that part we will do next. Okay, so make sure you have to create the new file in a pages folder, and from there we will go. You can try it. You can pause the video and try yourself, try to navigate from the this page to the profile page, and from there we will implement the profile page. Now once we click this profile pic, we want to navigate to the profile page. Okay, or once whenever we submit this particular form and it's successfully submitted, we will navigate to the profile page. So to implement that one, right, we have to first create the new page. Right, so go to the pages folder, and here we will create a new folder. Okay, it's called profile. Okay, okay. And then create index.js inside that one. Okay, now as I told you before as well, right, you can create directly file instead of creating folder and adding index.js. But whenever we create a file directly, make sure we'll give the name as a profile.js. Okay, perfect. Now let's add the default template. Okay, and save it. Make sure you will update this name, component name or page name. Okay, update like this and save it. Now if you go to the profile like this, now it will navigate to the profile, and profile word is showing on the screen. Right, now what we need to do, once we click on this user profile image, right, on a in a header, we want to navigate it. So go to the header.js, and inside here, right, we need to put on click method on this particular profile page. Right, before that we need to use the router. Right, we already defined router here. Okay, so that's good. And let's go to the profile section. Right, this is the image. So here I will do on click. Okay, and let's call router dot push. Right, we already did this routing here, so it's very easy for you as well. And just type profile like this and save it. Correct. And I will make this cursor pointer, it will be like this. Right, and once I click on this one, oh sorry, already in the um, profile. Okay, if I click now, it's going to profile. Perfect, that's what we wanted. Now let's implement and design the profile page. Now if you see this mockup, right, it's not final mockup, it's just a little bit overview. So we'll, once we are on the profile page, we will show the user profile, the name of the user and the email address. Okay, and this vertical line, and after that we will show the all the project which that user posted on this particular site. Okay, so Let's go to the profile page. So let's me go to the profile folder and index.js right here. Now, instead of writing the code here, we will create a component. So one component is for profile hero section and another is for the project, right? So in the component folder, I will create a new folder. Not in this, in component only. I will create a new folder called profile, and inside that I will create a one folder called userinfo.js. Okay, and another file I will create called project list.js. Okay, now let's add the default template and for this one as well, and save it. Now if you go to the our profile folder, make sure you will import it. So import the user info component, and second we will import the project list component like this. Okay, now user info project list is showing on the screen. Perfect. I will comment out this project list for now. Okay, because we are working on the in user info. Now go to the user info component. Okay, and let's implement. So first of all, we are going to show the image, right? But if you know, right, we already have login credential and the user session credential, so import that one. So like this, constant data, let's say session is equal to use session. Okay, and it's coming from the next authentication slash react. Okay, like this. Perfect. And in the session, right, we have the all the user information. First of all, I will add image source, and here we'll have session dot user dot image, right? This is an optional field, that's why I added this like this, so we will not get any error. Okay, and then I will also add the alt tag like user underscore image. Okay, perfect. And the showing image is please use new operator. So let's import the image from the next slash image, and now is the issue cannot read property of undefined user. Okay, so right now once we get this use session, right, we have to make sure that session is getting updated, right? So what we will do, we will wrap this whole div. Okay, again, once the session is available, right, then only show this div, otherwise show nothing. Okay, like this, and save it. So now it around is saying image with the source. This is missing required width property. That's fine. We will add the width and height. So let's add width of 75. Okay, and height of 75, and save it. As you see, it's perfectly coming up. Correct. Also, after that, we will add the user name. So h2 tag, and inside that we have session dot user dot name. Okay, and then we have email. So email. Okay, perfect. Now we have to bring everything in the center. Now for this div, let's give some class name. Okay, make it flex. We want flex to be column. Okay, and then make it justify center. Okay, so sorry, don't make it justify center. We don't need it. Make it item to be in the center like this, right? So everything will be in the center. Now for this div, we can give some margin from the top like 12, okay, like this. Now for this image, we will make it rounded. Okay, so give some apply some styling. So I will add the class name. So make it rounded to be full. So we want a circular, correct? I like this. Then for this name, we'll change the text size to be 30 pixel. Okay, and I want text the font to be bold, right? Font to be bold like this, and also I will take text to be blue of 500. Okay, perfect. This look good. And then I will keep this email as it, or let's change this color little bit. So text gray like this. Okay, little bit light color. Perfect. And we want to put the horizontal line as well, right? So you can put to this div as well. So if I put border of 2 pixel, okay, it will give border, but we want border at the bottom only, right? So bottom, and save it. And then you can give margin bottom to be 10. It will come like this, maybe 5. Okay, perfect. And you can also give some padding from the x-axis, right? So it will not touch to this particular screen. So padding x to 10. I don't know why it's not work. Padding x, well, maybe for it's not working for this one. Okay, that's fine. We can keep it as it is. Okay, and if you see, it's perfectly working. Okay, now it's not working padding here because if you go to the profile, right, you can give padding here. So class name padding x to 10, and then it works like a magic. See, perfect, right? Perfect. So now let's add the project list for this particular user. So we will add the project list here. Okay, now before creating the list of project and to fetch the list of project, right, let's go back to our Firebase data, right? And here I store some of the project, okay, with all the details. But if you see, right, we are not storing the user information who created this particular post, right? And this is very important. Sorry. So in order to do that, right, let's go to form.js, right, which we created the form.js, and where we storing the all the data. Here we have to make sure that we are also storing the user information. Okay, so what I will do, I will create a use effect here. Okay, and inside this use effect, right, I will make this use effect like it will update when the session is available, right? So I will add the session. Okay? And also just to make sure if session is available, okay, then only you have to set the input value, right? Because we already have the input method, and then we have to set the value. So here obviously I want to attach from to the previous value. So same thing we have to write it here. Okay, the one which we did it before as well. So here I will write like this: values, okay, comma, username. In this case we'll get the username from the session dot user dot name. Okay, and just to make sure, optional. Okay, and same thing you have to copy it for the image and for the uh, email. Okay, so here in this case we can write a user image and just email. Okay, here as well email, and here is image. Okay, and we have name. Now what we'll do, whenever we store the data, right, it will save with this all this value, right? And now I will save it. Now if you go back to the app, create post, right now it's saying the session is not defined, right? Because we are not fetching the session right here, so we have to define the session first. So like constant data session, which is equal to use session we are getting from the auth next route, right? Where once user login we'll get the session information here. And now if I save it, now it's saved, right? Now if I try test user, right, let me copy everything, Firebase there been, okay, some information, let's choose some file and then submit it. And if you see it's loading, right? And if you see it's submitted and jump back to the profile page. Okay, now if I go back to our application, let's see whether we have got any new record. And if you see test user is coming, right? This was the new record which we created. And if you see we got the email, we got the user image, we got the username as well, right? How simple it is. So make sure whenever we create the form, then we have to make sure that we will storing the user information as well. Now we will fetch a Firebase data. Okay, we have to fetch only the data which is the user is created, right? Because we are in the profile field page, and in the profile page we will fetch only users project list. Okay, so for that let's define some of the thing, right? First thing we have to define right, okay, sorry. So here right now we are in the profile page, right? And first of all this is the page, and here we will fetch the data and then we'll pass it to our all the components. Okay, depends on the requirements. So first of all let's fetch the user information, right? So obviously we have to use fetch it from the user session, sorry, use session, right? Because user is login, and then in the with the help of use session hook we will get the data. Okay, then we have to define the db. Okay, means obviously we have to define the Firebase firestore, and we have to pass the application reference like this. Okay, and make sure you import it. Then in order to store our data, right, we will use the state. So I will define user project and set user project in order to set the value. So like use state, and currently it's empty. Perfect. Now let's define a method to fetch the user information. So I will define constant get user project. Okay, like this. Okay, perfect. Now we have to make sure if session is available, then only execute, because we need to pass the user information, means user email address, to fetch the data, right? And depends on the user email, we will fetch the data. Okay, now here's the thing, right? If you don't know how to fetch data, you can just type how to fetch their document. Okay, and from Firestore. Okay, document from Firestore, and here you get the first link. Okay, and here it define how to fetch the data, right? Now obviously we already set the data, right? We know how to set the data, but here it help us to get the data as well, right? So you can go into the documentation and then you will learn how to get data. It's quite simple, right? Now obviously we have to fetch the multiple document from the collection, right? And here is simple query. So first of all you have defined the query, and then with the query we have to get the documents. Okay, so let me define for us how to do it, right? So first of all we have defined constant query. Okay, you can follow this step, is similar, which is equal to query. Okay, and then we have to get the collection. Okay, pass the reference of the db, and then the name of the collection. So in this case is projects, right? So if you go to back here, and in this case is projects, correct? So that name collection we give, and after that, oh sorry, so after that we have to pass the where condition. Okay, because if you see here, right, it's also in document also they mention. So where condition is because we have to fetch only the project which is come under that user's email, right? So here we have to write email. Okay, then is equal to condition, and then we have to pass what will be the email address, right? So in this case, case we have session dot user dot email, correct? And if you see, right, you have different condition here. So we have not equal to, greater than, equal to, greater than is equal to, right? A multiple one. Right now we want a is equal to, correct? That's the reason we give is equal to, and that's all. Now our queries is ready, right? Now we have to get the snapshot of the document. Okay, so just write constant query snapshot. I'll copy it simply. Okay, and is equal to await get docs, and then we have to pass the query which we created. Okay, so it's await, so we have to pass the async here. Make function async. Perfect. Now quite simple, you just need to use the for loop. Okay, like this. So just I will copy it and paste it like this, and let's say are we getting a document or not, right? Before that we have to make sure we'll call this function in use effect, right? So I will make me call use effect, and inside this one, right, we have to call this use effect whenever we get the session, because session will get after some time, maybe component after component load. It will take some time to get the session, right? Because it's we are getting from the net. So once we get any update happen in the session, then that time use effect will get execute. Okay, that's the reason I define use effect with the session change. Okay, so I'm passing session, everything will look good. Let me go back to our project. Okay, so obviously we have to pass this, we have to call this method, and perfect. Now let me clean this one. Let me refresh the screen. Okay, and if you see, right, we got a bunch of project and the document with the document id. So this is document id, and this is the project which we are getting. See all the information, perfect. It means we are getting the information which we needed. Now let me remove this console. Okay, let me remove this one as well. And now we need to store this one, right? So in order to store this one, we have to get set user, let's say set user project, right? We define the user project, and then simply we have to define user project comma data, because our object is already there, right? We just need to push it, correct? Perfect, like this. And that's all. So if you, now once it's execute, right, all we have this set user project is ready for us, right? Now what we have to do, this user project, right, which we store with the help of set user project, we have to pass it to our list of projects. So what I'll do, go to project list, and here you can pass it like this. Okay, the project, and project list we have to accept as a props. Okay, perfect. And then save everything. Now, so what we got the issue in the profile index.js. Let me see the issue. So he's saying data is not defined. So, oh sorry, so we have to define some okay, you can define like this, maybe let data is equal to doc.data, or you can just define doc.data here. Okay, either way is fine. And now it's okay. Okay, now let me increase the screen size, let me clean this one. Now nothing will display because we are not consoling anything, right? But let me console in the project list now. Okay, so what I will do, console.log, and here I will write project list of project, and see whether we are getting or not. If you see, we are getting the user project. Okay, perfect. So I hope you understand this one. Okay, now if I refresh the screen, right, and if you see in the user project we got the 12 project, right? Even though we just have only 6 in the our Firestore, right? If you see 1 2 3 and 3 to 6. Okay, so what is the issue, what's the reason, right? And if you see it's going to 18, okay, and here we put him. Sometimes when the user session change, it keep executing our use effect, and because of that one, we are pushing the data in our user project state, right? So in order to avoid that issue, what you can do, in get to user project, right, you can set user project, right, with the empty array, right? So whenever this execute, it will first make it will make sure that our user project is empty, and then only it will go into the session. Now still, let me refresh it once again, and still we are getting this 12 result instead of 6, right? So one more update we need to make it. So if you go to the file, and in next.config.js, right, here we have this property called react strict mode, right, and currently its value is true. Okay, make it the false. Okay, and then rerun your project again. Okay, so I will stop my server and rerun it again. Okay, now it's running. Let me go back here, clean this one, and refresh the screen. So it's still refreshing, and let me check. Okay, yeah, now it's refreshing. And now if you see, right, we are getting only 6, even though if I refresh it again, we still got the 6, and that's what we wanted. So make sure two things, every time when you load the or you call the function, right, or method, your state is empty, and in next.config.js you have to make this react strict mode to false. Okay, so if you know about the Pinterest, right, and this Pinterest grid format is quite popular as a web designer or UI UX designer, right? And the format is, if you see, right, it's quite complicated but quite popular. Okay, and sometimes very difficult to achieve in HTML CSS. Okay, so today in this project we are going to use this one, and this is how it looks in our project. If you see, right, this is how it looks once we build it, right? And it's, as I told, right, it completely responsive and depends on the screen size, it will change the layout. See, okay, so this grid format we are going to use, Okay, and so let's go and let's try to implement. Now let's go back to our profile, and inside that we have this project list, right? .js, the component which we are using to display the project list. So here we already getting this user project. Okay, and let's comment out this console. And here first of all we will check the condition. If user project is there, then only show the data. Okay, so here we will use to iterate it. Okay, like this. We'll end the tag here as well, otherwise don't show anything. Now inside this one, let's try to iterate this user project list first. Okay, so let's define user project dot map item, or you can give whatever you want. Okay, and then inside div you can end the tag, and here you can just print display the each project, right? For example, in this case, if I put item dot title and save it, you will see we are getting the item or title, right? All of these things, correct? So we are getting, but instead of writing this the cards, right, which we are using, we will create a new file, and inside that we'll write cards. So in the component, right, I created this file called project card, because this project card we are gonna use at multiple places. Okay, and that should be common for all of these. So we'll use this project card. Okay, so what I will do, go to project list and remove this line and import the project card. Okay, so project card. Okay, like this, and they save it. Now if you see, project card is rendering because project card contains only the word project card. Okay, now let's implement the project card. Okay, before that we have to make sure that each item means each project we are passing to the project card first. So what I will do, I will give name project, and then I'm passing this item. Okay, and in project card we have to make sure we are accepting as a prop. Okay, project. Now we got the project. Okay, perfect. Now let's uh, design it. So here inside div, let's add the image tag. Okay, so I will add the next image, then source, and end this tag. Okay, and inside that let's write project dot image. Okay, and let's give some width and height. So let's give width of you can give anything, because it's really depends on what we are it means with our grid and height, right? So I will give some maximum like 480, and let's give a height of maybe of 400. Okay, like this, and save it. Okay, now we got the error like project dot image. Okay, so the reason is, right, this file is not saved. So save the file, and now we don't have any issue, right? Perfect. Also we have to make sure, right, because we are using project image, and I already updated this next config.js, right? So inside this next config.js I added this endpoint. If you did not added this endpoint, make sure you will add this image endpoint, right, in the domains, under the domain. So that is very important, otherwise you will get the error. So now let's go back to our project card. Okay, let's where is project card. Oh yeah. Okay, and let's make it like this. Okay, I don't know why we are getting this error. Okay, let me check the inspect panel and the console. Okay, let me refresh the screen once. Okay, so it's saying key property and all property is not defined. Okay, let's define that one, and if you see now we are getting these images as well. Okay, so obviously when you are going to add this image from the next image, right, we have to add the all property. So in this case we'll say project underscore image. Okay, or you can give the title of the image. So for example, you can go write like this, right? Project dot title, save it. That's also work. Next, we have to add the title. Okay, so let's add p tag. You can add any tag, h2 or whatever, and then here you can write project dot project dot title. Okay, and save it. Perfect. Now we got the project dot title and everything, right? Now let's bring in a grid format, right? Now let's go back to our project list right here, and here we have to apply some classes for this div. So let's say class name, and here it's a magical thing will happen, right? We want the Pinterest like grid format, right? So here we find the column, okay, dash 2 for the smaller screen, right? Now if you see, it changes to smaller screen immediately. And if you see right, the format it's completely means it's attempting the screens space and everything, right? So that's cool. Next, if the screen size is medium, we want the column of sorry, column uh, column of 3. When screen size is larger, we want column of 4. Okay, and save it. I increase the screen size, right? Let me clean this one because we solved this issue. Okay, now if you see, it's working perfectly the way which we wanted, right? Now there's some more property we have to define, right? For example, let's give some mac margin x to be auto, and space y axis on the vertical axis to be 3. Okay, if you see, we got the space, and when the screen size is larger, we give space of y to be 4. Okay, perfect. And we can give some width size, but depends on your choice, you can update it, right? Also, let's give some margin from the top. So here I will add some margin top to 10. Okay, margin bottom I will add some 10 as well, and save it. Now we got the everything's almost ready, right? Now let's add some styling to this each card, right? So obviously we have to go to the project card. Okay, and here we will add some styling. So for example, for this div, right, to add the class name, first of all I will add the cursor pointer. Okay, so whenever I hover on this one, it will change the pointer. Okay, then let's on add the hover effect, right? So for example, if I hover it, right, I want to scale the image size to 105, right? And if you see, if I hover, it change, right? But obviously animation need to be smooth, so just do the uh, transition all. Okay, and duration need to be like 300. Okay, if you see, perfect, right? You can give some animation type is in out, is in out. Okay, perfect. Now I will also change the background. Okay, so what I will do, I will change background of sky, little sky like this. Okay, so make it 50 for now. Okay. And let's give some padding as well. So I will do padding of 2, and rounded to be maybe large. See, it works, right? Now on hover, I also want to change the background color. On a hover, what I will do, I will change the background sky to 200. Okay, and if I hover it, right, see, change, right? Now it's up to you, how do you want to change the color and everything, it's up to you, right? But this is what I did. Also for this title is I feel like it's little bigger, right? So what I will do, I will do class name and make 13 pixel maybe. Okay. And I will give some margin from the top, margin top to 2, like this. Okay, and right now I don't want all the name, right? So what I will do, we have a method called line clamp. So what you do, look, it will only show whatever line you want. For example, I just want to 2 lines, and after that just cut it, right? If you see this, if I save it, only 2 lines, and then it will show dot dot dot, right? And if I hover it, right, this much code, if you going to write css, this much code you have to write, but with this line clamp you have to write only to go 1 line of code, right? So simple, perfect, and that's all. So easy we did it, right? And now if you see, if I hover it, let me increase the size, and still it's working perfectly fine, right? If I hover, it's working. Now if you want this image corner to be rounded, you can do it. So let's do that one. So let's go here, add classes to this one, class name, and what I'll do, round it to be larger. And along with that, I will make sure that object is to be covered. So it's not necessary because depends on the size of the image, right? It will automatically acquire the screen size. Okay, so don't worry about that one as well. And you see how easily, how quickly it change, right? Now if I change the size of the screen, depends on the screen size, it change the layout as well. Okay, and if mobile view, it will look like this. Perfect, so good, right? Perfect. Now we pretty much completed, okay, this section. So now what, once we click on this one, right, we are going to show the some model, okay, some pop-up kind of thing, where we'll show the all the information on the screen. Okay, so let me give the some mock-up idea. Obviously it's not final, but let me give you that idea so you will understand, okay, what I'm sorry, I don't know where I saved it. So once you click, you just click, right, we'll show this title, then the image, the description, right, the technology they use, who is the user of this one, and some option is what are the links that we are going to provide, that one as well. And also we are going to give two more option to delete or cancel button. Okay, so you can user can delete this project as well from his profile, his own project only. Okay, so this kind of thing we are gonna do next. Now let's implement the model. Whenever user click on any of this project, we want to open the model and we want to display the project details on that model. Okay, so first of all, let's create some folder and file. So in the component folder, I will create a new folder called project details. And inside this project details, I will create a new file called project detail model. Okay, .js, and let's add the default template and save it. Okay, now here is thing, creating a model with in a HTML, CSS, or using Tailwind CSS is a little bit complicated. So you can just search on the Google and you will see the different bunch of options to how to implement the model. I found one on this creative-team.com. Okay, and it's quite easy to implement. So if you see the example, if I open the model and this model is able to display on the screen. Okay, and the code is just this one. Okay, so if you don't know, right, and it's a little bit complicated, you have to write a lot of things, don't worry, just copy the code which you want to display and paste it here like this. Okay, so for example, I copied this code. Okay, sorry, I copy this code, go back to a project. Let me open our project side by side, and in the project detail model we will add this one. Okay, perfect. If you don't want this div, you can remove it. Okay, and for now we don't want any model on click method like this, so I will just comment it out. Okay, and save it. Now you did not find any change until and unless this model is implemented somewhere, right? Now there are two ways that you can implement this model. One, you can add this component in a profile index.js, or you can go to the component called project list, and here as well you can add it. So I mostly preferably add in the project list, because this project list component we are going to somewhere and same functionality we want there. Okay, that's the reason I'm going to add it here. So here just add the project detail model. Okay, and in the tag and save it. Now we see model is open. See, let me increase the size and you will see the model. Okay, perfect. So now let's add some event. So what we have to do, whenever user click on any of this project, right, we want to open the model. So what I will do, in the project list, first of all, let's define state. So constant show model comma set show model is equal to use state. Okay, and initial value is false. Okay, now here I will put the condition, when show model value is true, means show model is true, then only we want to show the this project detail model, otherwise don't show anything, and save it. Right now if you see, right, the value is false, that the reason is not showing. If I change this value to true, it will, oh, sorry, value to true and save it, it will show model, right? Perfect. Now on the click of this project card, right, we want to show this particular model. So what I will do, in this particular div, right, for this project card, I will add the on click method. Okay, And here you can set the model value. So set show model value to be true and save it. Now if I click any of this model, right, you will see this pop-up is open. Perfect. Now on the close, we want to hide this model, or we want to close this model, right? So what you have to do, go to the model now, and here it's similar function, so I will keep as it is. For this close button, I added this on click method, and I'm setting the value to be false. Okay. Now this value, this particular method, you have to pass it back to the parent component. Okay. So you have to just pass the method here like this, and if you go to the project list, you have to accept it here. Okay, like this. And here you can set the value now. Okay, let me show it how. You can say some, for example, value, and set show model to be value. Okay, now this model value will be set automatically. Okay, and this value has value has a option called false. Sorry, means the passing as a false, right? If you see it passing as a false, and this method we are passing back to the parent child. That's the reason we are setting it like this. And if I save this one, if I click close, it will close. If I open any of this, it will open, and it close. Now right now I know the this content is similar for everything, but we're gonna change this, some moment. Okay, but I hope you understand this one. Okay, this is very important, and just you can find different type of model, but this is the easiest way that you can add it. Okay, and obviously the source code is in the GitLab. You have the link is in the description. You can check it out anytime. Okay, so now let's implement this model. Okay, so we want to show the details of the project. Okay, so that we will go and we'll implement that feature. Now I deleted the some unwanted stuff from this model, and only I kept this footer section. Okay, and in this footer section we have this delete and close button. Okay, so delete is used to delete the project, and close is used to close the model. Okay, now if you see this rough mockup, right, this is how we wanted to show on the screen. So on this left hand side, we will keep this all the project information, which include the title, project image, and some description. And on the right hand side, we will display the technologies, the list, technology list, and then the information like URL of the all different types of URL which is user provided for this project. Okay, and along with this, on left side we also include the who developed this project, or we can put it on the right at the bottom. We can decide it later. Okay, so for that one, let's go back project folder, and let's create some files. So first of all, I will create a file called project info.js. For that, I will add the uh, checklist.js. Okay, and we can add the URLs also in that one. Okay, but let's keep this separates, or let's see, we can add in the same list. Okay, because it doesn't matter, and it's a small code. Okay, that's all. So for now we will add that one, that much only. And if you go to the project detail model now you can implement here. Okay, if you go in the content section, okay, you can just add the project. I don't know why. Okay, so in project info we did not add anything, so add the default template. And for tech list as well, okay, we added for tech list. Just add project info. Okay, and another is uh tech list. Okay, and save it. And now we'll see project info and tech list. Right, obviously we want project info on the left hand side and tech list on the right hand side. So, and along with that, let's implement the all details as well. So now, before implementing the model with the details, we need to make sure that once user click on this particular project, we need to pass the selected project information to each component inside the model, right? So for example, right now user click on this project card, we will set the state value, and that state value, for example this project set value, we have to pass it to the model. Then again, once we are accepting the model, if you let's go to the project model. Here again, once we accept it here as a props, we need to send again to the project info and tech list, right? And if there is some update, we have to reverse back and so on, right? So in order to avoid this issue, we are going to use a context, the custom hook we can build in the React. Okay, so let me explain how it works. So for example, currently, if we are not using the context, right, and this is our parent component. Okay, if we want to send data to the this child component, any of the child component, right, we need to pass it as a props. Then again, to this child, to this one, right, we need to pass it there, right, and so on. And same thing, if we have some update which made in the child, we have to pass it back to their parent, and again pass it to back their parent, and so on. Okay, so in order to avoid this issue, we are going to use context. So how context work, right? Once you define the context in the parent, right, and then we have to wrap that component, the child component of the parent, in a one provider, right? And whatever the child component comes under that child components, right, if in parent component, for example, if you in this case we have one parent, and in that for parent we have two child, for that two child we have again three child, right, and so on. So you don't need to pass it once you define it here, right, and you can access it directly anywhere. Okay, that particular context, and that context you can update it, you can do whatever you want at any time. Once you update that content, it will be automatically updated to all the uh, parent or child components, and so on, right? So that's how it's easy. Once you we implemented that particular feature, you will get to know better and better, and you will understand much better. Okay, so now project list is our parent component. Okay, and we are on the click of this project card, we are going to open the model, right? Here we will define the context. So first of all, at the top, right, what I will do, I will create a constant, sorry, export constant equal to the project, selected project, I will write selected project as a name. Okay, select project context, okay, is equal to create context. Okay, and which will import it from the React. So if you see, oh, don't put is equal to, and create context is added. Okay, let me bring it like this. Okay, now I also define this state, use state. Okay, and this has a project and set project, in order to whenever user click on the project card, we will store the value inside this state. Okay, now wrap this project model. Okay, because where we want to pass the data this child component and their child component. So what we will do, we can write selected project context dot provider. Okay, this is very important, and then end the tag. So wrap this one, and I will wrap it like this. Okay, and then here you can pass the value information, right? So here you can pass the project and save project like this. Okay, as simple as that. So let me put it like this. Okay, and save it. Now if you go to project detail model, you can access it here. If you go to the project info model, you can access it here. Okay, that I will do you in a second. Now let's go back to a project list.js, and here, right, if you see, we are setting the model. Along with that, we also say want to set the uh, project value, right? So what I will do, put I will keep this in one different method, right? Let's say constant on project click. Okay, and sorry, an arrow function. Inside that, I will put the set show model, and also I will set the project value, and the value is nothing but the item we want to pass it here, like item. Let's call this on project click here. Okay, along with the item, like this, right? Now once we pass it item here, we have to make sure we are setting it in the set project. Okay, now in set project, we are setting the value once user click on the project card, and it get automatically pass it to this provider as well. Okay, now save everything. Okay, now in order to test it, let's go to the project info. Okay, here in order to fetch the information, right, context information, you have to define like this: constant project comma set project, okay, is equal to use context, right? And inside this use, you can use context, or um, you can inside that you can use which context you want to use. So in this case, the context is the selected project context. Okay, like this. Also you have to make sure, right, we are using curly braces and not the square bracket. Okay, this is very important, otherwise you will not get any error, but you also not get the any response. Okay, and let write the use effect. Okay, and inside this one we will define, we will print the console. So let's console.log, let's say project. Okay, like this, and save it. Now let's open this window. Let me close this one, go to the inspect panel, console, clean everything. Now if I click this one, if you see in project info, right, in project info we are getting this information, right, with all the details about the project and everything. You don't need to select, everything will be there without passing the props. So we are avoiding the passing the props, right? If it's only one component, two component, that's fine. But if there is multiple component inside the one component and you want the data in each component, it's better to use the context. Okay, very important, this concept is quite important. In interview you will ask this concept, and in each application this concept is very useful. Okay, so keep remember, keep doing practice of this one. Perfect. Now same thing, you can just copy this one, right, and in the project intake list as well you can use it, right, and make sure to import this use context and the selected context. Okay, like this, and save it. Obviously it will also display it here. Okay, perfect. Now actually let's implement this UI for this model. So I already implemented this model. So if I click any of this particular project, you'll see this model, right? So on the left hand side I added this title, then image and description section. And other component we have the tech list component. In that I added this all the technologies and the source link. Okay, so for example, let me get back the better example. Okay, if you see here, right, so we have different technologies, the source link we have, and the image, right. Now again in this one, right, if I click on this image it will open the image in full page. Okay, so this will help us. For example, if someone put some UI UX design, right, and he want to show that one, with the help of image click he can able to see the full image. Then we have the source link. Also this source link is very easy to implement. Okay, just added this as a text and it's clickable. So if I click on it, right, it will open the new screen, if see. Okay, so easy it is. So and same for the everything. Okay, and I also added this icon as well. So let me show you the code how I added this one. Okay, so if you see on the left hand side we have project info. Inside that we have this title, then the image. Okay, and on I added this on click method to that one, and it's very easy. Just I am opening the new window with the URL. Okay, so it will open uh, the particular URL in new window. So to write it, just you need to write window dot open and you have to pass the URL. Okay, then again this is simple as to tag to write the description and the actual description of the project. Okay, so this is the one component which we kept on the left hand side. Okay, and then on the right hand side we have the tech list where we are providing source links. Okay, and here just we have some conditions. Okay, whether if this particular app demo URL is available, then only show the data, otherwise not. Okay, some that kind of validation I kept here. So and also along with the image icon. Okay, so that image icon I already saved in a images folder locally. Okay, so you can use that particular icons from my source code as well. Okay, So as it is simple, okay, and the no complication. If you have any question about this particular layout, let me know in the comment section. Now what we will do, we're gonna implement this delete functionality. Okay, so once you click on delete, this project will get deleted and automatically our screen will get refreshed. Okay, so obviously we need to delete our data from the Firebase file storage database. Okay, so we will write the query for that one, and in order to delete the particular project, we have to make sure that we will pass the correct ID. Okay, so now, in order to delete document, and if you go to the Firebase documentation, you will see the way to delete particular document, right? And if you see, we have the delete doc method, and inside that we are adding which doc we want to delete, right? And passing the database reference along with the collection from which you want to send the delete the document and the document ID. Okay, so we are in the project detail model. So first of all, here we have to define the the database reference. So you can constantly get Firebase store. Just make sure you will import it and the app reference as well. Okay. Now our DB is initialized, and now here I will create a new method called constant delete project. Okay, and this should be async because our method is await, and then you can add this line of code here. Okay, make sure you will import the all this required uh, imports. Okay, and here if you see our collection name is projects, and id is the id which we are gonna pass here, right? So it will be a document id. Okay, so we can change to doc, sorry, doc id, like this. Okay, perfect. Now let's call this method on delete function. Okay, so here, sorry, so if you come down here on delete, right, we also setting this set model false, right? Along with that, uh, let's do one thing. We just call this method, and I will move this particular method inside this delete doc. Okay, so after deleting, automatically a window will get closed. Okay, so instead of that, what we'll do, we will refresh the screen so that we'll get the latest data, right? But I will show you how to do it. And then what else do we need? So we here we'll saying delete project, and that's all, right? So now here is the thing, right? We don't know which project we want to delete because we don't have any id information, right? So I will remove this id from here, but with the help of context we will get the project information. So here can we say project comma set project is equal to use context, because context already have the selected project, right? And here we can say the selected project context. Okay, like this, make sure you will input it, and now from here you can pass project.id. Okay, like this, as simple as that, and save it. Now let's test the scenario. So let me select this project and which want to delete, and just say delete. Okay, now it's still showing on the screen because this is old data. We need to refresh the screen, right? And if you see, um, I don't know why it's still showing. Let me delete this one and then refresh the screen. And if you see, it's gone, right? Maybe there is some issue, data cache issue, but it will delete it. Now every time, right, when you delete it, you need to refresh it, right? Avoid that issue, let's go back to your project. Okay, and instead of closing, means obviously we can close this model as well, but what we will do along with that, we will route it to our profile page. Okay, so what we'll do, router. Okay, so you have to define router first. So let's define constant router is equal to use router. Okay, and make sure you import it from the next router, and then here you can define router dot push. Okay, and just say profile. It's need to be a code. Okay, like this, and then save it. Okay, Now if you have tried to delete some other, okay, I'm not sure everything is good. Okay, let's try to delete this one and say delete. Okay, I don't know whether it's navigated or not, but if you see, right, it's get deleted but it's not getting navigated. Okay, so we need to call some other method. Maybe if push method is not working because we already in profile section, that's the reason. Okay, but I hope you understand this how to deleting the record, right? Let's try to create new one. So I'll create new one, say sample. So this one will create to delete it. Okay, and I will choose a file. So let's choose this file and submit it. Okay, and now it's submitted, and if you see, it's showing on the screen. Now if I open this one and try to delete it, okay, we need to make sure we have to refresh the screen. Okay, and still there, let me check what's the issue. Okay, because while adding the data, right, I have to make sure that id I'm adding is correct. So let's go to the Firestore, and here, right, we added this sample one. So if you see, right, this id need to be matched with this id which we are going to insert, right? So right now it's not matching. Let me copy it and update it manually in order to test from our side. Okay, so I added this one, and now let me refresh the screen as well. And now if I open it and try to delete, and let me refresh the screen now, and now it's deleted. Okay, perfect. So it's work. Only we have to make sure while adding the id we need to match the id which we want to delete. Okay, now just quick update. So instead of putting this router dot push, right, remove this one and we can reload the existing page with using this window dot location dot reload. Okay, right now I just commented this section of delete, right, and just make sure our reloading is working, right? So if I go here and click on delete, right, if you see, it's reloaded. Perfect. And now you can enable this one. Okay, so obviously once it deleted, it also get reloaded for you. Okay, and obviously once it reloaded, it will fetch all new data. Okay, also the quick thing we need to add in our project, right, while we are adding any project, right, in the form.js, make sure you will add this one state called doc id in order to set the document id. And here we will use the use state, right? Here I'm just passing the timestamp. Okay, by using the date dot now function, and make sure it need to be a string. And this doc id we will add it as a id as well in our field, as well as when we are creating document, right, if you remember we are using the timestamp directly, but here I will we have to keep the doc id. So this doc id and the id which we are adding in the field is need to be same, so that from this id we can pass this id as a document id anywhere in order to delete it or in order to fetch a single document. Okay, so that's the reason that id need to be matched. So we are at the final stage of this particular tutorial, and on the home screen we are gonna show the data. Okay, in order to show the data on the home screen, we want to fetch all the projects which we store in the Firestore. Okay, which is obviously independent on the user email address or user, right? We will bring it everything. So for that one, let's first of all define the database. So constant db is equal to get Firestore. Okay, and define the app. Okay, that's all. Next, we want to store this data in some state. So I will define the state called projects, set projects is equal to use state, and initially will be empty. Okay. Now, uh, in order to get the data, right, we already know how to get the fetch the data, right? Let's, if you go to this Firestore Firebase documentation, it will help you how to get multiple documents. Okay, so I will copy everything as it is. Okay, and I will create a new method called constant get all projects, and here, so this will be a sync. I will paste it here. Okay, so obviously I don't want this one, so I will remove it everything. Okay, and only thing that I want in order to get the data is in order by id. Okay, so because id is our stamp, so I will say order by. Then you have to pass on which id you want to order by and which order, descending or ascending. So in this case we want to descending. Okay, and the collection name is projects. Okay, perfect. Now make sure the query you can you have to import this query from Firebase Firestore. Same, you have to import collection, also the get docs. Okay, and everything, and perfect, and save it. Now you have to call this in one use effect. So let's define use effect, and obviously once the application load for first time, this will execute only once. So I will pass the empty, and here then you can call this get all projects and save it. Now let's go back to our application. Let's see everything is okay. Okay, now let's go back to inspect panel. Okay, because we are consoling all the data, and if you see, we are getting all this document, right? Whatever document we have in the database, we are getting all the documents. Okay, perfect. Now next step, we want to store these documents. Okay, because we are just printing here right now, we will store this document in our state, right, which is projects. So here you can define save projects, then projects. Obviously we want to append it with the previous one, right? And then in bracket dot 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 projects comma data. Okay, like this. Perfect. Okay, so now we have all the projects in our projects. Okay, now let's display the data now. So here I will first check whether do we have the data, then only we want to display, right? So if the data is there, now in this case, right, if you remember in our profile, right, we use the project list our as our component. Okay, and let's go to project list. Where is project list? Okay, so in profile, right, we have this project list, and what we are doing in project list, we are just passing the project data, and automatically everything is taken care of one, right? So then it will render the item using the project and everything. Okay, so same project list we are doing here, we will use it. Okay, so go to index.js, and here we'll just use project project list. Okay, and end the tag, and obviously if project list is not there, show null. Okay, now in the project list we have to pass the user project information. Obviously don't ignore this user project because just it's just a props name. Okay, and then in the user project we will pass the all the project list like this. Okay, and then save it. Now let's go back to our home screen, and as soon as you see, right, it's displaying all this uh, information, right, all the projects from the database independent of the users and anything. Okay, now let's add some styling to this. For example, I will give class name and padding 5. Okay, and here I will give one used to tag say all latest projects. Okay, and then save it. Let's update this. I will use some class name text or 25 pixel, margin bottom of -15 because very perfect look like this. If I refresh the screen, see how easy and quickly within under 3-4 minutes we implemented this, right? Because we already have the components. That's the reason create the components so that it can be reused anywhere, right? And if you see, we don't need any coding as well for this one, right? Because it's already there. Now if you open this one, right, you will see the data because only we have already implemented this card, this project data, the take list, everything is there, right? And you can open anyone's, you can check it, see how easy. But if you remember, right, even though I am on home screen, right, if I open this one, we are getting this delete option. Okay, and we need to get rid of delete option only if this project is associated with that user. Okay, so what you have to do, let's go back here and go back to your project detail model, right? So let me increase the size. In this project detail model we have delete here, correct, this one. So now what we will do, we will show this delete only when this project email address, whatever email address in the project and user email address is similar. Okay, so first of all make sure the user information is there. So right now we don't have any user information. So what we will do, we'll get the user information. So constant data session is equal to use session. Okay, so from session we got the user information. Okay, and obviously let's see what else do we need. Okay, and we also have the project information, so it's very easy to check. Okay, so let's come down, and here we can say if session, okay, question mark dot user dot email, okay, is equal to project dot email. Okay, if it's same, then only yeah, then only you have to show this button, delete button, otherwise don't show it. Okay, and save it. So if you understand, let's just make sure you understand this one, right? Because we are just checking the email address of user, current user, and the email address which we store for the store in a project, right? If it's similar, then only we want to show delete, because then it makes sense that okay, this project is belong to that particular user. Okay, now let's go back here. Oh sorry, I'll go back to our application, and if I open this application, okay, right now all project are belong to my email address, because I only import I added this project. Okay, but in order to test it, right, let's go back to Firebase. Okay, any of this project, for example, let's take this project called game listing. Okay, first project, and I will change this email address to something like admin at tubeguruji.com. Okay, now I change this email address. Okay, now if you go back here, refresh the screen. Okay, and I exact not sure which one I change. Okay, so we change this email address admin and game listing demo. Okay, so let's go back to project, and if you see the game listing here, if I open this one, you see delete button is not there anymore. Okay, but now obviously this project will also not able to visible here, because this is not belong to the particular user, right? It's belong to some other user, and it will show here, but delete option will not show here. But if you open this one, right, delete option is here, because this project is belong to the current login user, right? Perfect. I hope you understand this one, and if you have any question regarding anything, please comment in the comment section. Okay, and that's all for this video, and if something comes up, I will obviously post it on my channel. And if you did not subscribe to my channel, please do subscribe. If you like this video, press like button and share this video with your friends and family, and we'll see you in the next video. And next video will be a very very interesting. I know, I hope you will like it.